Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the live stream of our next fresh and furious bout. This one between the TORD Vipers from Toronto Roller Derby, facing off against Queen's Court from Queen City Roller Girls, straight out of Buffalo, New York. Queen City actually won their previous bout between them and the Dirty Farmers. So they won the right to advance to this bracket to face off against the Vipers. Skaters are just on the track warming up now. My name's Trouble T. I'm pleased as punch to be here with you.
My name's Token Redshirt. I've been here for the last two games.
No, you're here. We're here. Are you here? I'm on the live stream. Perfect.
The Vipers are playing today in red. You've got the Queen's Court and Friends team playing in black, mostly. Black. Mostly black. Now, this is my first opportunity to see either of these teams skate. So this is going to be a fun bout.
Yeah, this is the Vipers' first bout of the day. So they're coming into this one cold. Queen's Court, as I said, won their previous bout. One of the jammers on Queen's Court to look out for is number 992, Kylo Ren. She had a 38-point jam in the first bout, and at that point really blew that one away for Queen's Court. It was a pretty fantastic jam. 38 points is a heavy score. Keep in mind that all the skaters that we're watching today are freshies, so they've only been at the sport for about a year or less. So we're seeing the newest of the new. People, some more advanced skills than others, some with more track awareness than others. So it's very interesting to see the strategies that sometimes get used or sometimes get missed in a bout like this. But both equal teams, we should think, coming into this with new skaters on both sides. I want to give a shout out to layer9.ca. Layer 9 doing all of the live feeds, such as the one you're watching and listening to now. Fantastic for them to come out and make sure that every single bout here at the Fresh and Furious tournament is broadcast live online. So thank you, Layer 9.
And with the online player portal that you've got, you do have the opportunity to rewind. If you're watching this through a mobile browser, then you can rewind for about an hour. But if you're watching this on PC or Mac, then you can probably rewind it all the way to the previous broadcast. And all of the stuff from Layer 9 will be available on YouTube. If you're on mobile browser, you can subscribe and stream from YouTube. I took the opportunity yesterday to browse Layer 9's YouTube catalog, and practically every single bout from Beast of the East 2018 was there. That was fun watching for a day.
To get through the lineups here for TORD Vipers, we've got number 02, Watson. Number 10, Mo Money. 1141, Slaper Bag Princess. 14 is Violet Felon. 1984, Oryx and Break. Number 222, Lois Payne. 413, Shabam. 602, Maple Muff. 73, Slim Reaper. 767, Alex Monroe. Alice Monroe. Number 790, Fantastic Miss Fox. 87, Motley Crude. 89, Whipglash. And number 95, Baby Jammer. On the bench is Gore, Scrappy, Batman, and Devo.
And for Queen's Court skating is number 090, Beidou. 212 is KT Glitter Sparkles. 31, Butthurt Tart. 333 is Sour Mom. 410, Mini Mean. 55, Jill Doe. 810, Nips Don't Lie. 82, Legend Barry. 857 is Alex Lamher the Great. 992, Kylo Ren. And 999, Kiss of Death. On the bench, you'll find Bobcat and Necromatrix. Now, exactly who is wearing that rather charming police box dress?
I believe that is Necromatrix.
Because that's all kind of geek awesome right there. Hello. There's somebody taping things down in front of the announcer's desk, so I'm momentarily distracted.
Try and find the referee crew names for you.
If you're hearing a lot of paper rustling, it's because there's a lot of paper rustling. That's how we do.
Looks like we've got crew 2 on the case today. It's White Noise, Queen Helsa, Cheat Skates, Lolo, Vile Love It, Mr. Kennedy, and Owly Shit. So with these bouts only being 20 minutes, we do see quite a bit of different strategy than you would normally see in a full-length bout. There is not a lot of time to come back from a deficit if you should fall behind, and not as much of a endurance is not as much of a concern. You've really only got to keep going at it for 20 minutes.
And as we saw in the last game, if one team puts up something of a lead, you'll see them start to run jams longer, start to run that clock down, giving their opponents no quarter to bring back the score.
Both teams still actively warming up. We can see Butter Tart practicing with her blocking crew. She was a very effective jammer in the first bout for Queen's Court. We'll see what she's got on this round.
And we have Motley Crude. He's warming up with her blockers for the Vipers, and again, really pushing. So it looks like the two jammers that we've mentioned so far are more power jammers, the more smash through, as opposed to the Jinka-side speedy jammers.
And we'd love for you to stick around and watch the live jam as the day winds on. Just before the finals, which occur at 9 o'clock, we'll have the Heart Award being given out. In 2014, GTAR lost one of their freshies, Louisa Calamaris, and her skater name was Hack Kerouac, number 1922. Louisa came to the GTA Roller Girls, who have now rebranded as Hogtown and are hosting the tournament. She started as a volunteer, an NSO, and then entered the Fresh program. She was known around the league for being super friendly and eager to do anything that she could to contribute. And her death was a great loss to the Derby community. So Fresh and Furious Award was created in her name. So the Louisa Calamaris Heart Award will be awarded to one Freshie who competes today, who demonstrates great heart, determination, and positive attitude. So this isn't an award for the most outstanding player or MVP, the best skater, the best jammer. It's all about heart in the spirit of Louisa Calamaris. So the way that this award is determined is that coaches from each team will submit the name of one skater from their own team. Those names will all go into a draw, and the skater will be chosen at random just before the final game of the tournament today at 9. This is an elimination style tournament, although I don't believe that this is an actual elimination game. But the winners will go on in the winner bracket.
So the winners will go on and play Royal City Roller Derby at around 3:40. They're the winners of Game 6, having beaten Hammer City. The losers will go into an elimination game where they will play Dirty. Don't forget, folks, if you want to interact with us, let us know what we're doing great, what we could improve upon, or just generally want to chit-chat. The hashtag on Twitter is FNF2018. You can reach us. We are monitoring the Twitter feed. For example, 3 minutes ago, Roland Academic posted why roller derby is the best sport. And if you want to find out, search the hashtag. I'm not going to tell you.
If you want to check out this upcoming schedule of bouts, you can hover your mouse if you're on a PC or Mac over the upper right-hand corner of the live feed. You'll see the letter I. Just click on that and it will lead you to the schedule. I will caution you that we are running at least 20 minutes behind. There was an injury in one of the very, very early games, and that played a little bit of havoc with our schedule earlier today. It is a full contact sport, so people do get injured, and having that happen so early on in the day has had a bit of an impact on all the rest of the bouts here. Trying to keep things on track and doing a little bit of shuffling and narrowing down some practice time so that things can get back on track here and that we can wrap this up at a reasonable hour and find out who the winner of Fresh and Furious 2018 is. Hashtag is FNF Derby 2018. Francis Nancy Francis Derby 2018. We've got a ton of fantastic sponsors here down at Trackside, and dedicated sponsors who go with us throughout the entire league. Let's throw one out to Complete Energy Solutions. For all your HVAC energy management and mechanical needs, call Complete Energy Solutions. Also, Magnum Fire Protection, who's been on board with Hogtown for a number of years now, helping individuals and businesses, large or small, to stop fire before it happens. You can call Magnum Fire for all your fire prevention needs. Some of the in-house sponsors, we've got Monster Muffin, Neon Skates, rollerskatin.ca. That's skatin' with an I-N. No G. Hold the G, please. rollerskatin.ca, Canada's roller skate store. Trusted, knowledgeable provider to derby teams all across Canada for over 12 years with the best customer service. They sell and service all the top derby brands, safety gear, and tons of recreational skates too. Over 30 years of expert quad skating know-how at your service. rollerskatin.ca.
And you'll also find at our vendor village Neon Skates. Neon Skates has been proudly serving the Canadian roller derby community since 2010. From new skaters getting their first set of gear to the seasoned veteran looking for expert advice, Neon helps skaters get what they need online, in-store, and on the road in their wonderful Jambulance. Catch us at the Fresh and Furious, and if you happen to be in downtown Ottawa, you'll find them on St. Patrick Street in Byward Market.
And you'll see them just about every derby event that you could imagine. Neon Skates is all over the place thanks to that Jambulance.
Thank you also to Rumblin' Rage, who are here in our vendor village. Rumbling Rage is a Canadian company currently focusing on supplying roller derby gear. They sell skates, Wheels, protective gear, accessories, apparel, legwear, and much more, and are committed to help you find exactly what you need.
Do have to tell you about one vendor that's trackside, that's Six Skates. They take old skateboards and totally reconstruct them into, you guessed it, brand new skateboards. Check out Six Skates for your recycled, reclaimed skateboard needs. They've got all the wheels, all the trucks, and all the decks you could imagine in all sorts of different designs and functions.
Now, T, I recognized all of those words, but when you string them together in a sentence like that, I got lost.
Well, this bout has begun, and it's a quick jump from Kailu Ren, who we've already hyped up a little bit, having had a 38-point jam earlier in the day. She's out in your lead jam position. Jamming for the Vipers, it's number 87, Motley Crude.
And both TORD and Queen's Court mounting something of a defense, but Kylie Ren managing to cut through for a pickup of 4 points before calling off the jam.
Just to remind you that Queen's Court is wearing the black outfits while the Vipers are in red. So TORD Vipers are red, Queen's Court is in black, and the players are set up for jam number 2.
For jam number 2, we have number 100 Shabam for the Vipers and number 31 for Queen's Court.
So Butthurt Tart lining up for Queen's Court against Shabam for the Vipers. And Shabam up and in the faces of Queen's Court early, and on the outside of turn 1 is your lead jammer.
Not to be outdone, Butthurt Tart has made her way through the pack. Blockers are coalescing right now, preparing for the onslaught. Here comes Shabam. Plowing into a blocker, plowing into one of her own skaters and sending them down to the concrete, then calling off the jam after a pickup of 2, or rather 3.
Yeah, it's, I think a wise play there. Butthurt Tart was coming in fast, and Shabam was caught up. So picking up just a small score to keep the scoreboard rolling over was definitely the right idea.
We've seen a lot of that in this tournament so far, especially in the early going, preventing any one team from getting too far ahead early. Hit it and quit it has been sort of the theme.
Kylie Ren out early again. Up against Slaperbag Princess, who is now struggling to get past Mini-Mean. But Kylie Ren scything through the Vipers' defense before calling off the jam as Slaperbag Princess coming around for her scoring pass. It looks like that's going to be the story of this game.
One thing we'll have to watch for Queen's Court is Kailu Ren's endurance level. If they do end up winning and continuing on through the winner's bracket, they're going to want to make sure that they don't overuse one of what seems to be their star jammers early in the tournament, leaving her gassed for later, more important elimination games. Oh, a heavy hit. Legendary absolutely smokes the jammer for the Vipers. That's fantastic, Miss Fox. However, Miss Fox bounces right back up and takes lead jam position.
And that's Jill Doe for Queen's Court. Now through after having to pick herself back up from her knees.
Miss Fox rips right through the pack, picks up 4 points, and calls off the jam. It's really back and forth here in the early goings between the Vipers and Queen's Court.
It's also worth noting that 2 of Queen's Court players will be starting in the penalty box. I can only assume that's from the pileup we saw in turn 1 on the last part.
So Queen City definitely short-handed to start this one off. And taking full advantage is Motley Crude. She rips right past the 2 blockers.
KT Glitter Sparkles is hot on her skates though. And with an attempt to squeeze through on the inside of turn 2, Motley Crude calls off the jam after being forced down onto her knee pads.
She did look a little rattled from that hit, but she got up, gave her head a shake, and seems to be just fine. Still 1 skater in the penalty box for Queen's Court.
And we have a tied game.
After 5 full jams, we're still looking for one team or the other to really blow the lid off this one. It hasn't happened yet, but Kyla Wren is trying to make it happen as she once again is lead jammer with Shabam hot on her tail.
Now Kylie Wren seems to be one of the style of jammers I've seen in recent years, which is this being able to see a gap opening and hit it just as it opens, and then capitalizing on a great acceleration and a great foot speed to get out ahead.
And it makes even more of a difference here when you're playing against fresh skaters, where a blocker may not be able to shift as quickly as a jammer who's coming around the track at full speed. Kylie Wren has definitely been able to take advantage of that. And Queen's Court now is up by 1, 10-9.
And we have Beidou, who is out as the jammer in the lead. However, lead jammer was given to Slaperbag Princess for getting her hips ahead of the final blocker before Beidou managed. And so a very quick call-off of that jam to prevent Beidou from scoring.
And it looked to me like Queen's Court got away with a bit of a low block there. But the referees didn't call it. They know the game, I'm sure, in much more detail than I do. So no penalty called. Both teams at full strength, starting this jam number 8. Oh, some skaters down right around turn 1, and it's Kylo Wren. You'll keep hearing that name over and over, out as lead jammer, while fantastic Miss Fox gets bounced around for the Vipers. Oh, and absolutely runs right over Mini-Me, who attempted to slow her down.
Yeah, that's the other type of jammer that I see is the cannonball.
Yeah.
You know, building right from a standing start, accelerating very quickly, smacking a blocker, and then just going straight over them. So, very interesting tactics. And we're into jam 8 with 13 minutes left on the game clock. And already, it's going to be a close game.
One blocker from each team serving time for their crimes as the whistle goes. Both teams at even strength. And this time it's Katie Glitter Sparkles who's taking the lead jam position.
Now ahead of Motley Crude, but Motley Crude, not to be outdone, is very quickly through the pack and on the skates. Now, excellent offensive work there from Queen's Court, giving Katie Glitter Sparkles an open inside line and holding the Vipers on the outside of turn 2. And then moving very quickly to the inside to prevent any score pickup by the Vipers. Very, very canny play.
And it resulted in a 4-0 jam there, just as the Vipers jammer was looking at the same hole that Katie Glitter Sparkles managed to go through untouched. They shut the door on her and prevented her from getting even a single point.
And we have Butthurt Tart jamming out and is your lead jammer. And Shabam coming up hard for the Vipers.
Jill Doe has picked up a penalty for Queen's Court, so they'll be shorthanded.
And Butthurt Tart picking up a penalty for a back block just as she tried to call off the jam. So the Vipers now have a power jam, with Butthurt Tart being in the penalty box for at least 30 seconds. It's going to give Shabam an opportunity to put some points up on the board and close that gap.
And she does have a handful as referee White Noise holds up 5 fingers, putting the Vipers now within 4 of Queen's Court. Your score is 18-14 with time to go in this jam. Shabam gets slammed.
And a fist bump there from Sour Mom for that hit. Just to check that she's all right before Shabam gets back up onto the skates and on the track to pick up another 5.
Butthurt Tart now, having her served her penalty, is back on the track at the back of the pack and actually does get through on the outside very cleanly. Picks up 4 points.
Shabam tried to call off the jam there, but just to remind you folks that the only person that can call off the jam is the lead jammer, provided they have not picked up a penalty. This one has got 25 seconds left to go. So Gildo with an assist, trying to give Butthurt Tart an opportunity to come through. Butthurt Tart now trying to call off the jam. Unable to do so, of course.
The jam clock is winding down, just a couple of seconds left, and Butter Tart puts up 4 late points. So when all is said and done, it looks like 10 points on the board. 14 points for the Vipers and 8 for Queen's Court.
So difference of 3 now going into jam number 2. So this game is still wide open, and we are below the halfway point.
A lot of fan support here in the arena for both teams. You can hear a lot of advice and a lot of instruction being offered up at trackside.
Yes, but mostly in the form of yelling, T. And we've taken a timeout. So I believe it's an official timeout. Oh, no, and we're back. So we have Kylie Wren up against Slaperbag Princess. Let's see if the Vipers can slow it down. And they can't. Kylie Wren is out ahead very, very quickly through the defense, while the Vipers are struggling to get Slaperbag Princess through with some assist and defensive work.
Yeah, she's just barely rounded turn 1, whereas Kylie Wren has made her way all around the track, picked up 4 more points, hit the deck hard on her knees, but popped right back up and is rounding the track one more time, looking for even more points.
Credit really has to go to Legendberry and Jill Doe at this point for their defensive work, because they're managing to match both the defense and the offense, which has given Kylie Wren an opportunity to score while they hold Slaperbag Princess back.
And here's Kylie with another 5. She's got 10 on the board already in this jam. No sign of slowing down.
Slaperbag Princess still yet to make her initial pass. So this is quality defensive work from Queen's Court. And Legendberry giving a little push assist to Kylie Wren to get her past Maple Muff. And Slaperbag Princess has passed the start off to
Lowest Pain.
Lowest Pain. And the jam is done. Lowest Pain looked to be in a little difficulty getting back up off the track and has picked up a penalty. So Queen's Court will be starting with on a power jam, and with a massive 20-point jam from Kylie Wren. It's anybody's call where this jam's going to go now.
And that was our first truly massive jam of the bout. You remember going into this one, it was only 3 points separating the teams. Well, now Queen's Court has extended that to 23 points. A 20-0 jam. Kylie Wren, once again, throwing points on the board like nobody's business.
So just while the Vipers take an opportunity to talk tactics and regroup, gives our refs an opportunity to fluid load. If you are completely new to Derby and have absolutely no concept of just how hard work this is, a friend of mine who is a Derby skater tried to put their calorie count for Derby practices into a particular application. The closest they could get was ice hockey. That's the energy levels we're talking about, folks. This is a tough sport.
Absolutely full contact, bone-crushing hits. You can see 6 skaters hitting the deck there just to illustrate the point at how hard and physical this can be. It's a fantastic. Miss Fox is your lead jammer for the Vipers. The only jammer out on the track. Sorry, my mistake. Mini Mean is out there pushing hard.
And fantastic Miss Fox picking up some points, but with a last-minute block, had to recycle back into the pack. Mini Mean is now on her scoring pass.
Mini Mean takes it to the outside, but gets tripped up. She's out of bounds and has to go to the back of the pack. Fantastic Miss Fox takes a look around. Very good track awareness. Picked up 5 points, looked around, and decided it was wise to call off the jam. And it was indeed wise.
So Vipers closing the difference by 2 now, so are 21 points behind.
Just under 7 minutes on the clock, so this thing is winding down. A lot of time. The difference certainly is not insurmountable at this point. But the Vipers have to stop the flow of points and even reverse it if they're going to come away with this one.
And how that doesn't look possible when Kai Luren is on the track, especially going around the outside of turn 1 with that speed. Motley Crude is struggling to get past a very consistent and tenacious Queen's Court defense.
Meanwhile, Kai Luren has passed around the track and then lapped Motley Crude. Calls off the jam after putting up 5 more points for Queen's Court.
And Queen's Court taking the timeout.
I think Kailu is definitely the most impressive of the jammers that we've seen so far in this bout. Lots of time for someone else to take that spot, but she's not just impressive, but consistent. Constantly getting that lead jam position and quickly, not struggling to get through the pack. It seems off like a rocket as soon as the whistle is blown.
Actually, the most impressive jammer I've seen so far today. Although we've had some high-scoring jammers, there's been nobody, as you've said, that can match Kailu's consistency. And as you mentioned, it's going to be interesting to see how much they play her in later games. Because if they keep putting her out at this rate of knots, then Kailu's going to be very, very tired when we get into the latter stages.
Now, there is a significant amount of time between bouts to rehydrate, to rest. That sometimes can be a detriment as well when you're firing on all cylinders. Stopping can often be one of the worst things. But you don't get to the finals if you don't win the early games, so maybe that's the strategy that Queen's Court is running with. We'll see later in the day.
So, Slaperbag Princess is jamming for the Vipers, and Beidou and Legendberry both trying to make things very difficult, but Slaperbag Princess on the toe stops manages to get your lead jam.
Alex Slammer the Great jamming for Queen's Court. She's through the pack.
And it's her first jam today. So it's interesting seeing Queen's Court now bringing out other jammers. Slaperbag Princess cannot manage to get past Sour Mom. Again, back onto the knee pads as both jammers collide. Slaperbag Princess calling off the jam as we wait. And the players manage to pick themselves up. Slaperbag Princess being sent to the penalty box.
That will be a power start then for Queen's Court.
If you were the Vipers with 5 minutes left to go and a 22-point deficit, you really wouldn't want to see your jammer in the penalty box at the start.
Doesn't help at all when you're in the hole to have your only player who can score points sitting out, serving time.
And as Queen's Court, which jammer do you put on when you've got a power jam start? You put on Kai Luren.
Here she is through the pack. That was probably the most difficult pass through the pack that we've seen her have, and it certainly didn't take very long.
No, and credit, I think, to the Vipers defensive team for managing to make that as difficult as it was. But Kylie not scrubbing the speed as she comes in for that block on Fantastic Miss Fox and manages not only to open up a gap, but then exploit it.
And we can see that Slaperbag Princess is actually holding the jammer penny in her hand, looking for a pass now. She's down and out of bounds and to the back of the pack. Not having a very effective jam so far, but the pass has been made.
And Kylie with an assist. So using one of the blockers as a shield to pull around the inside of turn 3, picking up yet another set of 5 points.
And just as the Vipers continue to sort of concentrate on what's going on with their star penny, Kylie Wren passes through for another 4 points and then calls off the jam. That's a 15-point jam for Kylie Wren.
And it looks like this game could all be over, but don't count the Vipers out. It only takes a jammer in the penalty box and a really high-scoring jam to get back into this game.
Now, that said, the two biggest jams that Kylie Wren has had are 20 points and 15. That puts her at 35, matching the total that the Vipers have managed to score in this entire bout, with only 3 minutes left on the clock. That's Shabam jamming for Toronto for the Vipers, slamming hard into a blocker and being sent out of bounds.
And it's butthurt tart up for Queen's Court. Shabam using the confusion that was going on in turn 2 to make the initial pass. And we have the Queen's Court pivot currently in the penalty box. Excuse me, Queen's Court player.
Almost unnoticed on the outside line, picking up 4 points. That number has to stay the pack as well.
Shabam with her head up, watching very closely. She's the lead jammer. Watching very closely what Butthurt Tart does as she approaches the pack. And she's through on a pass. I'm not 100% sure why she didn't call off the jam there, allowing Queen's Court to put 4 on the board.
This is playing into Queen's Court's hands. They've got the lead. They're now running the clock down with 2 minutes left of game time. So all the Vipers, all Queen's Court need to do is run this jam out now.
Legendary just stopped Shabam dead in her tracks at turn 1. And Shabam up on the toe stops, trying to skip her way through the pack. It didn't work. She calls off the jam, but it's a little too late as Butthurt Tart makes her way through. She's posted 12 on the board. The Vipers come away with 11. So increases Queen's Court's lead by 1. 85-46 is your score.
And it looks like this game's now is Queen's Court's. We've got just over a minute left of play. By the time the whistle goes, we'll be down below a minute. Sorry, we'll be a minute 5. And Motley Crue jamming for the Vipers. And Beidou 090 is out as lead jammer, using the confusion that was going on in the pack to skip through on the inside of the turn.
And a great assist there from her blocker, Alex Slammer the Great, creating a nice path through the pack for Beidou. The jam is called off. We've still got a bit of time. We're going to squeeze one more jam out of this one. A timeout has been called so that the clock is stopped now at 35.
It's a Queen's Court timeout just to let them grab a breath, reset the lines, and try and get this last jam cranked out.
They're at 89 points. We'll see how long this one can go and whether or not they can crack 100. Not that it particularly matters at this point. Way out ahead, a 43-point advantage.
So just to remind you, these timeouts don't just serve as an opportunity to talk tactics, but give the teams an opportunity to catch a breath, just get the pulse back under control, but it also gives our refs an opportunity just to rest, relax, refresh the eyes a little bit, flush out the brains so they can concentrate on the jam coming up. And this is a big one.
There's the whistle. Kylo Ren, true to form. It's your lead jammer. Slaver Bag Princess gets knocked down by Legendary.
And I think Kylie Wren was given an assist by a multiplayer block there by fantastic Miss Fox, which sent Miss Fox into the penalty box. So
game time is winding down. See whether Kylo Ren decides to stretch it or call it. And it's a call. So the bout is over. Queen's Court, 98. The Vipers, 48 is your unofficial score. See no reason why that would have to change. And it will be Queen's Court moving on in the winner's bracket to face off against Our Ladies of Pain at 3:40 or thereabouts. We are a little bit behind schedule. But Queen's Court definitely in control of that from the early goings. We started off with several tight jams before they really blew it out with a 20-point jam from Kylo Ren just before the halfway point.
And with our skaters exiting the penalty box, it can be only the official score now. Queen's Court 98 to the Vipers 48. I think the scoreline really does demonstrate just how devastating and a really effective jammer can be. And I think it unfairly reflects how hard the Vipers had to fight to get those points on the board.
I think you're absolutely right. We did see some great jamming there from Slaperbag Princess. Shabam did very well for the Vipers. Fantastic Miss Fox, Motley Crude, all very good efforts. And from the rest of the team as well, blocking. But there was just no stopping Kylo Ren, and that's what the score reflects.
Indeed so. So, with this game done and dusted, we thank you for joining us on the feed. Please stay with us. Remember, you can always use the PVR functions on our player to rewind, rewatch, and don't forget, once the broadcast comes down, give it an hour for the stuff to be on YouTube and give it a couple of days, and you'll be able to watch all these games again in HD.
We'll have our combo team up next, facing off against Hammer City here in the arena. Games going on all day as well in the bubble. So that will be your 220 game, Combo 2 versus Hammer City. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'm Treble T, signing off.
And Token Redshirt, peace out.